Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the Noon News from Montana's news leader.
Good afternoon, and thanks so much for joining us here on the Noon News. I'm Samantha Sullivan. Montana Governor Steve Bullock isn't wasting any time diving right in and making campaign stops on the first day he announced he's running for President of the United States. Among his day one stops, his alma mater, Helena High School. Bullock is now one of over 20 Democrats to throw his hat in the ring to take on the president in 2020. The 53-year-old gained national attention after his announcement on Tuesday morning, and according to Politico, Bullock has already reached the threshold to be included in the first round of Democratic debates set for the end of June, but no official list has been announced yet. Well, political experts and analysts across the country and across the state are already weighing in on Bullock's presidential announcement. MTN's Andrea Lutz sat down with the political professor for some perspective.
We know what the stage is for the presidential candidacy, 22 different Democrats. Where is Bullock going to really find his place here?
It's pretty early, so we don't know quite where things will end up. He's one of 22. He just got in the race. Polling's not necessarily in his favor, but again, it's very early.
Let's talk about, this is the biggest question that I think Montanans are asking themselves. They're asking the governor, too. Why didn't you go for the Senate? Why make that huge leap to the presidency?
Well, he's an executive for the state right now, and I think that's probably his wheelhouse. He's probably the most comfortable in an executive position. You don't get a lot of attention in Congress. You're one of 535 people versus a president.
What are his chances of actually making Montana, which, as we have talked about, it's pretty red. You might say it's purple. But what are your chances of actually winning our own state?
If he can get on the debate stage, that means his polling has to be good. He has to be a high enough profile to get on the debate stage. If he does that, there is a chance.
Now, Dr. Pope also says if Bullock doesn't have a shot at the presidency, he may have a chance at a cabinet position if a Democrat is chosen as the next president in 2020. Well, one Billings business already busy as a result of Governor Bullock's run for president. The Billings Times was awarded a contract to do printing for Bullock's presidential run. The Times, which has been in business since 1891 here in Billings, is printing letterhead, envelopes for fundraising, and thousands of rally signs for Bullock's presidential campaign.
It's a huge honor. Yeah, we've done work for Governor Bullock in both of his campaigns, and for them to come to us right off the bat when he was announcing for president to do work for him, it's a tremendous honor. We're very proud.
Now, employees at the Times had to sign non-disclosure agreements to keep the governor's run for president a secret until it was officially announced yesterday. Well, in other news this afternoon, the Billings police say they are still investigating the involvement of youth in the shooting death of a 15-year-old Billings girl. The victim was identified as Tiana Rolland. She died of a single gunshot wound on Saturday at a home in the Billings Heights. Lieutenant Brandon Woolley says no charges have been filed and no arrests have been made in this case yet. Police are still working to determine if the shooting was intentional or if it was an accident. Well, now checking in on the Caressa Hardy trial in Missoula, now 1 week in. On day 7, jurors saw the lead detective in the case take the stand. We learned of a written violent note written against the witness. Written in the note is talk of harming the defendant's former wife and the mother of her 3 children. Investigators found more evidence from the defendant, Caressa Hardy's cell phone, including pictures Hardy drew that depict violent acts against the people opposing the case. Hardy's defense argues prosecutors still have no evidence of Hardy actually admitting to the murders or asking someone else to help carry them out.
Is the defendant on any recording admitting these offenses that has been admitted into evidence for counts 3 and 4?
If you're asking whether the defendant specifically said, "I killed them," I do not have a recording of the defendant saying that.
And as far as asking for someone else to cause harm to Karen or to kill Karen, are there any recordings that are admitted into evidence?
I do not have a recording in which the defendant specifically asks someone to kill Karen now.
Now, in day 7 of the trial, prosecutors also presented evidence that blood of one of the victims was found in the basement of the home. Well, now we'll turn things over to Rob in the Weather Center. Rob, another nice day, but it sounds like things are on the downward spiral for the weekend.
Yeah, we really have 2 things to think about today, which is going to be a gorgeous day. And as you say, another Pacific storm system headed our way, and it's going to affect everybody probably for several days, but let's not let that spoil things. Take a look at what's happening out there in Missoula right now. We've got more clouds, but still sunshine, 66 degrees with just a breath of an east wind right now. Look over there in eastern Montana, Billings, sunshine closing in on 80 degrees with a south wind at 7 miles an hour. As we look ahead at things, we will have wetter weather statewide. Scattered rain and thunderstorms become more widespread with rain showers heading into Thursday and Friday, especially. Cooler temperatures, highs slip out of the 80s into as cool as the 40s in some parts of the state by Saturday. And also unsettled weather includes breezy conditions, rain showers, even some mountain snow showers to talk about going into the weekend. The complete storm tracker forecast in just a little bit. Samantha?
All right, thanks, Rob. Well, spring is officially here, and while spending time outside in the sun is fun, medical experts do say you need to make sure you're protecting your skin. May is National Skin Cancer Awareness Month, and according to the Skin Cancer Foundation, over 5 million cases of the disease are diagnosed each year, making it the most common cancer in the country. A plastic surgeon in the Flathead Valley says preventative skin care should start early. Young children and people over 60 are at a higher risk for sun damage, and they suggest sunscreen over SPF 30 and reapplying every 2 hours for everyone, but people in those age groups especially. If folks have questions on what to look for, the doctor has a trick that doctors use to help identify skin cancer.
A, B, C, D, so asymmetry. A for asymmetry, B for irregular borders, C for color change, and D for diameter. So anything greater than about the width of a pencil eraser, we say, needs to be paid attention to.
He also suggests those with lighter skin and hair should be wearing hats to shield their face from harmful UV rays. Those with a family history of skin cancer should see their dermatologist every year. Well, before we take a break this afternoon, the Flame of Hope has almost reached its final destination. Law enforcement and Special Olympics athletes came together in Great Falls Tuesday evening for the final leg of the journey. The law enforcement torch run began on April 22nd and has already crisscrossed the state. More than 300 people have carried the torch more than 2,200 miles. The run raises awareness for Special Olympics, promoting the message of inclusion, acceptance, and ability every step of the way. Today, the Flame of Hope will travel the last mile for the final leg of that run, ending up at CMR High School to ignite the cauldron at today's opening ceremonies, signifying the beginning of the 2019 Special Olympics Games. Well, coming up here on the noon news, after 2 fatal airline crashes, the head of the FAA is on Capitol Hill today to testify. We'll have those details when we come back. But first, Rob Griggs joins us with a look towards what could be a bit of a stormy weekend. That full forecast when we come back.
You're watching MTN News with Samantha Sullivan, Storm Tracker Weather with Ed McIntosh, and Farm and Ranch News from the Montana Ag Network. This is the noon news on Q2, Montana's news leader.